I'm Helena, and my life was a picture-perfect illusion. 12 years of marriage, a pristine suburban home, and a husband whose charm could light up any room. But beneath the polished surface, a storm was brewing. One I never saw coming until it struck like lightning in the dead of night. I trusted him, trusted my closest friends, poured my heart into every detail of our shared world, only to stumble upon a secret so shattering it rewrote everything I thought I knew. Now, as I stand at the edge of betrayal, a fire ignites within me, a hunger for truth that won't be silenced. What did I uncover that changed me forever, and how far will I go to reclaim my power? Stick around, because you won't believe what happens next. Picture this: a single, fleeting moment captured in the glow of a phone screen. A secret I wasn't meant to see, burning itself into my memory like a brand. I'm Helena, 37 years old, and I've spent the last 12 years building a life that, from the outside, looks like a polished postcard. I'm married to a man who can charm a room without breaking a sweat, living in a tidy suburban home just beyond the hustle of Chicago. Our house is a showcase of order, every cushion fluffed, every surface gleaming, a testament to the meticulous care I pour into everything I touch. I've always believed in loyalty, in trust, in holding tight to the promises we make. But something happened recently, something I'm not ready to name just yet, that flipped a switch inside me. It's as if a quiet strength, long buried under layers of routine and expectation, has clawed its way to the surface. I can feel it now, this hunger for fairness, for truth, stirring in my chest like a storm waiting to break. Let me pull you into my world for a moment. My husband, Mark, is 40, a sales executive with a silver tongue and a smile that could sell sand in a desert. He's got a sharp wit, always ready with a quip. But there's something else. A wandering gaze I've pretended not to notice for far too long. Then there are my closest friends, the women who've been my anchor through every high and low. Rachel, 35, is a yoga instructor with a bold streak, her flirtatious energy lighting up any room she enters. Sophie, 38, is the opposite, reserved, almost shy, but with a stunning beauty that turns heads without her even trying. And Lila, 36, is our wild card, a free-spirited artist whose magnetic laugh can pull anyone into her orbit. These women have been by my side for years, sharing late-night confessions over wine, cheering at our backyard barbecues, and tagging along on beach vacations where the sun seemed to melt away our worries. Mark's circle intersects with mine, a group of men who've become as familiar as family. Ethan, 39, is a rugged contractor, his confident smirk hinting at a man who's never doubted himself a day in his life. Caleb, 41, is a lawyer with a smooth voice that could talk his way out of anything, always polished, always in control. And Noah, 37, is the quiet one, a personal trainer whose intensity simmers just beneath the surface, like he's always holding something back. These 6 people, Rachel, Sophie, Lila, Ethan, Caleb, and Noah, have been woven into the fabric of our lives. They've crowded around our dining table for game nights, toasted to milestones at our parties, and filled our photo albums with memories of laughter and late-night bonfires. Now let me set the scene for where this story really begins. It's a quiet Friday evening in our modern, open-plan living room, the faint glow of string lights casting a warm haze over the space. I'm standing in the heart of our home, arranging a charcuterie board with careful precision, slices of aged cheese, curls of prosciutto, and clusters of grapes, all laid out like a work of art. It's a Friday evening tradition, one I've cherished for years, and tonight I've invited Rachel, Sophie, and Lila over for wine and a chance to unwind. The air smells of lavender from a candle flickering on the mantel, and the soft hum of a jazz playlist drifts from the speakers. I can hear the clink of wine glasses as I pour a deep red into each one, the sound a comforting rhythm against the quiet anticipation of the night. Rachel is sprawled on the couch, her legs crossed, a mischievous grin on her face as she tosses out a suggestive quip about the last guy she dated, her words dripping with a playful heat that makes us all smirk. Lila, perched on the armrest, lets out that infectious laugh of hers, a sound so bright it could light up the darkest room, while Sophie sits cross-legged on the floor by the coffee table, her quiet smile barely hiding the amusement in her eyes. We're a tight-knit circle, the four of us, bonded by years of shared secrets and late-night heart-to-hearts. But even as I laugh along with them, there's a knot in my stomach I can't quite untangle. Mark, my husband, told me he'd be working late tonight, some big project keeping him tied to his desk. That's what he said anyway. His texts have been short, clipped, almost dismissive, and when I tried calling earlier, it went straight to voicemail. I tell myself it's nothing, just the stress of his job, but the unease gnaws at me, a quiet whisper I can't ignore. I glance at the clock, 7:30 p.m., and try to shake the feeling. The night stretches ahead, and I focus on the moment, on the warmth of my friends' voices filling the room. But that whisper in my mind grows louder as the hours tick by. By 8:15, I'm pacing internally, my thoughts spiraling. I've always trusted Mark, believed in the life we've built, but lately, there's been a distance between us, a subtle shift I can't pin down. Maybe it's the way he avoids my gaze sometimes, or the late nights that have become more frequent. I don't want to be that person, the one who doubts, who suspects. But my gut is screaming at me, and I can't turn it off. That's when the idea hits me. We have this old nanny cam, a small device we bought years ago for security, when we thought we might need extra eyes around the house. It's been sitting in a drawer, forgotten until now. I tell myself it's not about spying, not really. It's about peace of mind, about quieting this restless feeling in my chest. So, I'm standing there in the kitchen, the phone trembling slightly in my hand, the Nanny Cam app open, and streaming a live feed from our living room. I'd set it up earlier, hidden discreetly on a shelf, telling myself it was just to ease my mind. But now, as the screen flickers to life, I see something that rips the ground out from under me. There's Mark, my husband, the man I've built a life with, right there on our couch. The couch I picked out. The one we've cuddled on during countless movie nights. But he's not alone. Rachel, Sophie, and Lila, my closest friends, the women I've trusted with my deepest secrets, are with him. The image is a punch to the gut. Rachel's hand pressed against his chest, her fingers splayed possessively. Sophie, her face close to his neck, her breath almost visible in the way she lingers. And Lila, her wild laugh cutting through the silence as she tugs at the edge of his shirt, playful but deliberate. It's a scene of tangled intimacy, a betrayal so vivid it feels like I'm watching a twisted performance in a theater I never bought tickets for. Our living room, the space I've poured my heart into decorating with framed photos of our vacations and soft throw blankets, now looks like a mockery of everything I believed in. The string lights I hung with care cast a warm glow over their entwined figures, turning my sanctuary into a stage for my humiliation. I'm frozen, rooted to the spot in the kitchen, the cold tile under my feet grounding me even as my mind spins out of control. My thumb hovers over the screen, part of me wanting to shut it off, to pretend I never saw this, but I can't look away. It's surreal, like I'm outside my own body, watching myself watch them. My heart should be racing, should be breaking, but instead, there's this eerie stillness settling over me. It's not anger, not yet. It's not even despair. It's a cold, sharp clarity, like a fog lifting, to reveal a path I didn't know existed. Something inside me doesn't shatter. It wakes up. I see myself as if from above, composed, almost detached, my face a mask of calm, while my mind sharpens like a blade. I'm not the woman who cries or screams in this moment. I'm the woman who observes, who calculates. A quiet fury builds, not the kind that explodes in a mess of tears and shouting, but the kind that simmers, that plans with precision. I don't storm into the living room. I don't confront them. Instead, I hit the save button on the app, preserving every second of this gut-wrenching footage. Then, with a steadiness I didn't know I had, I slip my phone into my pocket, grab my keys, and walk out the back door without a sound. The night air hits me like a slap, crisp and biting, as I slide into my car and start the engine. I don't have a destination in mind. I just drive, the hum of the tires on the asphalt, the only sound as I let the reality of what I've seen sink into my bones. The streets of our suburban neighborhood blur past, rows of neat houses with glowing windows, families inside probably laughing over dinner, completely unaware that my world just imploded. My thoughts churn as I grip the steering wheel tighter. I think about Mark's late nights, the ones he always blamed on work, the excuses I swallowed because I wanted to believe in us. I think about his secretive smiles, the ones I told myself were just my imagination, and the way he'd brush off my questions with a laugh or a quick change of subject. How long has this been going on? How many times have I sat across from Rachel, Sophie, and Lila, sharing my heart, while they hid this from me? The signs were there, scattered like breadcrumbs over the years, and I ignored every single one, clinging to a trust that now feels like a cruel joke. I drive for an hour, maybe more, circling through quiet roads and past empty parking lots, letting the weight of it all press down on me. By the time I finally pull back into our driveway, the night has deepened, and a resolve has settled into my core like concrete. I'm not the same woman who left this house hours ago, trembling with shock. No, I've transformed in the silence of that drive, my pain morphing into a steely determination. I've decided I won't be the victim in this twisted narrative. If Mark and my so-called friends thought they could rewrite my story behind my back, they're about to learn I hold the pen now. I'm not just going to react, I'm going to orchestrate. I'm going to balance the scales in a way that leaves no room for doubt about who's in control. The week that follows is a masterclass in restraint, a performance so calculated it almost scares me. On the surface, I'm the same Helena, doting, composed, the perfect partner. I cook dinner for Mark every night, setting the table with the same care I always have, plating roasted chicken and garlic mashed potatoes as if nothing's wrong. I smile at his small talk, nodding along to his stories about work, even chuckling at his tired jokes about office politics. At bedtime, I lean in and kiss him goodnight, my lips brushing his with a tenderness that masks the storm raging inside me. He doesn't suspect a thing, doesn't see the way my eyes linger on him, studying every micro-expression for cracks in his facade. But behind that calm exterior, my mind is a war room. Every moment I'm not playing the part, I'm plotting, piecing together a plan so precise it feels like I'm carving it into stone. I'm fueled by a need not just for revenge, but for justice. A need to make him feel the weight of betrayal as acutely as I did when I saw that footage. I start by reaching out to Mark's closest friends, Ethan, Caleb, and Noah. These are the guys he's always been tight with, the ones he's made off-color jokes about in my presence, dropping hints about wild fantasies he thought I didn't catch. I've always brushed off those comments, chalking them up to locker room talk, but now I see them as threads to pull. I call each of them, my voice smooth as silk, inviting them over for what I call a special evening the following Friday. I keep my tone light, casual, but there's an undercurrent of suggestion, a subtle invitation that I know they'll pick up on. Ethan responds first, his deep voice carrying a knowing chuckle as he says, "Sounds like a plan, Helena. I wouldn't miss it." Caleb's next, his lawyer-smooth drawl slipping into a sly, "I'm in. Can't wait to see what you've got up your sleeve." And Noah, always the quiet one, just murmurs a low, "Sure, I'll be there." His agreement heavy with unspoken curiosity. Their responses are like kindling, feeding the fire of my intent. They have no idea what they're walking into, and that's exactly how I want it. As Friday approaches, I turn our living room into a stage. I drag out the same camera I used to catch Mark's betrayal, but this time, I'm not hiding it. I set it up on a tripod, bold as brass, right in the center of the space where everyone will see it. I adjust the angle meticulously, ensuring it captures the couch, the very spot where I saw my world unravel. I dim the lights to a soft, intimate glow, the kind that casts long shadows and hints at secrets. On the coffee table, I arrange glasses of whiskey, the amber liquid glinting like a prop in a noir film, each pour measured with a steady hand. Every detail is deliberate, a silent declaration of intent. This isn't just a room anymore. It's a battlefield, and I'm setting the terms. When Mark comes home that evening, I'm waiting for him. I guide him to the armchair, the same one I sat in when I watched the footage that shattered me, and I sit across from him on the couch, my posture relaxed, but my eyes locked on his. My voice is chillingly calm, each word a blade wrapped in velvet. "I know everything, Mark. I know everything," I say, my voice steady as a surgeon's hand, cutting through the silence of our living room. The camera on its tripod looms like a silent witness, its lens pointed directly at us. I watch his face, searching for a flicker of guilt, but he just stares back, his expression unreadable, a mask I can't crack. Not yet. I lean forward slightly, my hands folded in my lap, and continue. "I've seen what you've done, right here in this space, with people I trusted. But tonight, we're rewriting the rules. Tonight, you watch." His eyes narrow, a spark of something, curiosity, maybe dread, flashing through them as the doorbell chimes, signaling the arrival of Ethan, Caleb, and Noah. I stand, smoothing my dress with deliberate calm, and open the door to let them in. Their presence fills the room with a charged energy. Ethan's broad shoulders and rough demeanor, Caleb's polished confidence, and Noah's quiet intensity all blending into a storm I'm about to direct. I gesture for them to take their places near the couch, their curious glances darting between me and Mark, who remains seated, his posture rigid in the armchair. I don't explain, not yet. Instead, I move to the center of the room, the camera's red light blinking as it records every moment, just as it did when I uncovered his betrayal. This isn't about passion or longing. It's about balance, about showing him the weight of what he did by turning the mirror on him. I position myself with precision, standing tall as I invite Ethan closer first. His hand, calloused from years of hard labor, slides along my thigh, the touch firm and unapologetic, sending a shiver through me that I don't acknowledge. I'm in control here, every move calculated. I nod to Caleb, who steps in, his arm slipping around my waist with a possessive ease that feels like a performance, his grip steady as if he's claiming a role in this scene. Then Noah, always the silent storm, approaches, his breath warm as his lips graze the curve of my neck, a fleeting brush that's more about the act than any real desire. I stand at the heart of it all, orchestrating each gesture, allowing their nearness not out of want, but as a deliberate act of fairness, a counterweight to the betrayal I witnessed. My skin prickles under their touches, but my mind remains sharp, detached, as if I'm a director watching my own play unfold. I'm acutely aware of Mark's gaze, locked on me from across the room. I expected pain in his eyes, maybe anger or shame, but instead, there's a burning intensity I didn't anticipate, a heat that seems to consume him as he watches. It's not the reaction I planned for, and for a split second, it throws me off balance, but I hold my ground, my expression unyielding, my body a canvas for this moment of reckoning. I'm not just Helena, the betrayed wife. I'm Helena, the architect of this scene, wielding power I didn't know I had until now. My heart beats steady, almost clinical, as if I'm observing myself from above, performing a role with precision. This isn't about losing myself to the moment. It's about claiming it, owning it, making sure Mark feels the sting of seeing me in a light he never imagined. The air in the room hums with tension, layered with the low murmurs of Ethan, Caleb, and Noah as they follow my lead. Their voices a quiet backdrop to the scene. My breathing remains even, a controlled rhythm that anchors me, while the faint buzz of the camera captures every second, preserving this just as it preserved Mark's indiscretion. It's a strange symphony of sounds, their hushed tones, my measured inhales and exhales, the mechanical hum of the recording device, all weaving together into a moment that feels both surreal and inevitable. I let it play out just long enough, ensuring the weight of it sinks in, before I step back, breaking the circle with a subtle shift of my shoulders. The men retreat to their places, their expressions a mix of intrigue and uncertainty, as I turn my focus back to Mark. His face is still a storm of emotions I can't fully read, but I don't linger on it. I've made my point, sharp and undeniable, and now it's time to let the dust settle. I gesture for Ethan, Caleb, and Noah to leave, my voice low but firm as I thank them for coming. They nod, sensing the shift in the air, and file out into the night without a word, their footsteps fading down the driveway. The door clicks shut behind them, leaving just Mark and me in the heavy silence of our living room, the camera still blinking its red eye as if it's waiting for the next act. I don't turn it off right away. Instead, I sit back down on the couch, crossing my legs with a deliberate calm, and let the weight of what just happened hang between us. Mark doesn't move from the armchair, his hands gripping the armrests like he's anchoring himself to something solid. I can see the tension in his jaw, the way his eyes flicker between me and the floor, searching for words he can't seem to find. I don't push him to speak. Not yet. There's a strange power in this quiet, a space where everything we've hidden from each other feels exposed, raw, like a wound that's finally been uncovered. Later that night, after the camera is packed away and the living room is tidied up as if nothing ever happened, Mark and I find ourselves back on that same couch. The irony isn't lost on me. This piece of furniture that's witnessed so much betrayal and reckoning in such a short span. We've pulled up the footage from earlier, the recording of my orchestrated display, and we're watching it together on my laptop. The screen casts a flickering light across our faces, painting us in shifting shadows as the images play out. I'm sitting close to him, closer than I've been in weeks, our thighs brushing against each other, the heat of his presence both familiar and foreign. The silence between us isn't uncomfortable, but it's charged, electric with unspoken questions that neither of us dares to voice just yet. I can feel the weight of his gaze on me even as we both stare at the screen, reliving every calculated moment of the evening. As the playback reaches a particularly intense part, where the tension in the room was thick enough to cut, where every touch and glance was a deliberate stroke in the painting of my retribution, I feel Mark's hand rest on mine. His fingers are warm, tentative at first, then firmer, as if he's testing the waters of this new, uncharted territory between us. My breath catches for a moment, not out of desire, but out of the sheer complexity of what I'm feeling. There's vindication, sharp and satisfying, knowing I've made him see what I saw, feel what I felt. But there's also uncertainty, a nagging doubt about what this means for us now, where we go from here. And beneath it all, there's an unexpected connection, a thread of something I didn't anticipate weaving itself into the fabric of this moment. His touch isn't just a gesture, it's a question, a silent plea for understanding, or maybe something deeper I'm not ready to name. I don't pull my hand away. I let it stay there, under his, as the video plays on. The sounds of low murmurs and shifting bodies filling the quiet of our home. Watching it now, with him beside me, it's like I'm seeing myself through his eyes for the first time. I orchestrated that scene with cold precision, every move a calculated step to balance the scales, but now I wonder if I've uncovered something else entirely. This experience, as painful and twisted as it's been, didn't destroy us like I thought it might. Instead, it stripped us down to something raw, something uncharted, a version of ourselves we've never dared to face until now. I glance at Mark, catching the way the screen's light reflects in his eyes, and I see something I didn't expect. It's not betrayal or anger staring back at me. It's fascination, a kind of awe, as if he's seeing me anew, not as the woman he thought he knew. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.